was an unusual shape. There's where the castle was situated. It was there around 1641, I believe. This is both in Dorcha, trees each side. St. Patrick's Church, it's on the estate. And this was the road, now this road, there was no road there in 1838 until about 1922-23. And this was where the Gazebo obelisk is, and there is the western boundary, mountain area. From the Lacken River running down to the strand. The main extended out there to the strand, and this is a look at it from 382 feet over sea level at the Gazebo. Castle Lacken. It extends to that wall there, right up that wall that comes up there from the sea. Gone out of view then, and appears again over here. We're in the mountainous area now, left of this wall away back. Lacken. It was owned by Colonel Charles Knox. And there's the Gazebo that was there in 1838. Lacken domain. The domain was a manor or a landed estate, especially if kept in the owner's possession for his sole use. It could mean the park and gardens surrounding the house. According to O'Donovan's notes of 1838, the name comes from Cushlawn Lacken, Castle of Lacken. He states that there was an old castle here that belonged to the McEgan family. In 1838, it was occupied by Colonel Charles Nesbitt Knox, known locally as the Red Colonel. It contained almost 293 acres of land. 130 acres in the west was uncultivated land, but that would be up here, what we might call today mountain. He held possession of it all and had no tenants. In the east of the townland, down in that direction down here, there was a Roman Catholic chapel, and in the centre where we are now there was a gazebo. It is still here today. In 1856, Colonel Charles Knox was the townland occupier and immediate lessor. It had the castle, Roman Catholic chapel, a yard, and he owned half the river. You can see the river goes away down there, I suppose for fisheries and salmon. It had the same acreage, and the colonel paid £50 in rent in those days. In 1641, according to Symington's Book of Survey and Distribution, the Earl of Cork was the proprietor of this townland, which was called in those days Castle Lacken. It had an area of 6 quarters then, so it is an old townland, a couple of 100 years old. According to the indenture of County Mayo made in 1585 between Sir John Parrott on behalf of the Queen and the big landowners and chiefs of the county such as the Burkes, the Barretts, the McJordans, the McPaddens and others, William Burke of Arnory shall have the castle and town of Arnory and 4 quarters free. Also Castle Lacken down here and 4 quarters free, and other 6 quarters subject to composition in Ballycashel and Ballach Adala in the said barony. The said barony, of course, was Tirori. I have not seen it written, but Colonel Cuff, who was a member of the Tirori cavalry and was called Law Tiroli at one time, was in possession of Castle Lacken at one time down here. He had many illegitimate daughters, and one of them was married to the Red Colonel, who lived in Castle Lacken. Now the Red Colonel is Charles Knox. In 1798, Castle Lacken was the property of Sir John Palmer, the baronet. According to Joseph Stock's narrative of what passed at Killala, Palmer's castle at Castle Lacken was broken into and completely rifled. The first of the Palmers, Roger, came from Norfolk in the east of England to Castle Lacken in 1684. I suppose he got a grant. 2 of his 5 sons survived. Roger lived at Palmerstown, and this place is named after the family of Palmers. Thomas, the other son, Thomas Palmer, lived at Summerhill. Roger had 2 sons, Roger and Thomas again, and Thomas was back again in Castle Lacken. Then there was a John Roger Palmer in 1819. He was also a baronet. There were many other Palmers also. We think maybe this Sir John Palmer may have been the man that may have been here in 1798. He may have also been the last of the Palmers to be in Castle Lacken. During the War of Independence, 1919 to 1921, Castle Lacken down there was rifled. Gates, timbers, roofs, the bell and other items were stolen out of it. Some houses still boast of having window frames and maybe doors and timbers and other articles of furniture from it in their houses. Some old gates in other townlands came from this domain. Mickey Lavin, who lived in Lacken Hill up here, was the gardener down here in Castle Lacken for Colonel Knox. He was called Lavin in those days, around 1856, I am told. The other Knox family of Castlereagh and Rappa, etc., deny that they are in any way related to Colonel Charles Knox of Castle Lacken. He was also connected with the other estate in Ballinrobe, owned by Colonel Cuff. It is said that the gazebo here could be seen from another monument built there on the estate at Cray House. It is now, I understand, a government research institute. The gazebo, right here. It has been called a rich man's folly. On the Annan survey map, it is called an obelisk. Other explanations for it are a summer house, a turret, a balcony with a fine view. From here, there is a magnificent view. One can see the waters of Lacken from here on a clear day way off that direction. You won't see it today. It is 382 feet over sea level. It is not marked in on O'Donovan's map of 1838. It was there at that time because he mentioned it in his notes. It was probably used here by the Red Colonel when he strolled out on a good evening and watched the view. It was also used by shipping coming in the Killala Bay down there, or the Lacken Bay or Killala Bay, as a landmark. It was hit by lightning and repaired again by a tradesman called Hines of the Banagher area about 2 generations ago. It has been said that it was built to the memory of Maria Brown, who was married to Roger Palmer, grandson of the original Roger who came to Castle Lacken in 1684. The gazebo is given to the name of a public bar in Killigary of late. Now, this monument here, or obelisk, it was standing here before the famine. Now, some people don't know. It was standing here before the famine in 1838. Archways. Doesn't look like local stone. The local stone has a white acidic colour, this one is brownish, reddish brown. Landmark, a rich man's folly. This is the boundary going down the road there. Left of that is Castle Lacken. And then it winds away down there, left of the wall, towards the castle. See a car coming up there, left of that is Castle Lacken townland. There we see a view of the castle Lacken. Example, in that area up there, that was called the Red Doors, wasn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember seeing them in Toronto?
Yes, I do. I remember seeing them.
What were they like?
Oh, they were they were black when I seen them.
Like, what were they made of what? Wood?
Oh, wood.
Oak or something.
Made of
Servants' quarters, was it?
wood. No,
There we see a good view of the sunk fence, right to the left there. To keep the cattle away from the green pasture in front of the castle.
Lacken Hill Road was there.
But the Castle Lacken Road wasn't there.
This road, the new road, as we call it now, only came to
The Castle Lacken Road wasn't. The Killigary Road was.
You remember the Castle Lacken Road being built to you?
Well, not exactly. No, I should have known it. I
Yeah.
should have remembered, but I wasn't even going to school. It was built when I came to school.
Was it around your time?
Well, when I was a young. It must be built around
1960.
or 18.
Yeah.
It was, well, you can say 16.
Yeah.
16 or 17.
And it only came as far as the small wood. Thereabouts.
Yes, that's all.
Stopped at the
The
small
nailings prevented it from going down at that time.
Okay, we'll move into the inside. Lucy, can you recognise any of the parts inside? Now, this here was the main entrance.
That was the main avenue.
This is the main avenue here. Was there a gatehouse down here?
No.
No gatehouse here. No gatehouse. And they came up here then.
I have that on map, Sean. This layout of the avenues and all that here.
Have you?
Yeah. That's on the ordnance.
The front door was. This was it here.
If you're knowledgeable.
Yeah.
That was
Here.
Well, there was a porch coming out.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Here.
yeah,
Came out
yeah.
over there on the wall.
Yeah, these stones were taken away. Now, in this area here, there were down on the floor on the ground level. There were dances held. 1921, 22 was there?
yes, and around that.
You remember them?
Yes, I remember hearing talk of them now, being there. I don't remember them. I wasn't out in that time. I was only a small lad.
Yeah. Who was holding them here? Was it the Protestant? Well, the Protestant gentry wouldn't be in at that time.
No, it wasn't the Protestant gentry.
IRA was it? IRA?
Well, I suppose it would be more or less now.
More or less. Yeah.
I suppose the funds went to the IRA now.
Did they?
Yeah. Anything that was collected.
Well, they're well attended.
Oh, they were. They would be, you know.
Yeah. And they
Now, there
don't-
was people that could give them better account than me at that.
Now, most of the stones from here now are gone away down to the church in Castle. Where is it? Castle down.
It's Castle Lacken.
What do you think this building was here?
Well, now that's anybody's guess at this stage. There's a lot of marks for plugs in the walls, but they were probably to hold on wainscoting that was inside the plaster at the time. It was used as a means of insulation, heat insulation in those old houses, as well as the turf. There was also turf built into the walls, which was also a primitive method of insulating them against heat loss. Built in the middle of the walls in some of those walls.
Even in those days?
Even in those days, yes, they had that. The old men would tell you about Patrick Collins got arrested now, and a few of the men told me about it, that they actually dug it out when the castle was being knocked down or pulled apart. You know,
They're just describing for the hole in the second cover, right? That's a scratch.
What would you think this was here, Tom?
There's a scratch for the plaster there, there's a finish, there's the finish for the plaster.
Going all the way up, was
All
it?
the way out.
Also,
You see, there was a lot who pulled down out there. It was pulled down before I seen it.
Was it?
also plastered with lime and sand.
Lime and sand.
Only, no cement.
Well, there was no cement.
No evidence of any hair or anything like that in the thing. I can see.
So it'll be here long before the
Yeah,
18th century, probably
yeah,
17th.
cement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are
These will be
servants,
all these will be all the cooking places now there.
servants' quarters around here. Up where, Tom? Oh, out on the...
This was all
This
built
is all
up.
part of the roof. So these had chimneys, so let's see.
Servants' quarters.
Yeah, there was a roof there.
Yeah.
There was a roof there sloping into this. So in all probability, there could have been a carrying gutter there. Maybe that's what that hole came out of. Right now, hold on, I have a look at something here. Yes. That was a waterway there. For carrying water off the roof to another gutter that was here, travelling along here on this place here.
Yeah.
Now this may have been roofed, although I didn't show any evidence of being roofed there. Over your head. That must have been open, really.
This was all roofed out here. You see, this car. But this was all roofed in. Whether it was in this way, it was coming out or not.
Oh yeah, well this was here, because there's a sign of there of
Quarters.
yes. Of
Seven.
some form or other.
Yeah.
That top thing above.
There would be a big door there, wouldn't there? Yeah. Bell tower, was it? For calling them to work, was it?
If you go up above you'll better see it here.
I can see it here, yeah.
You can't. You can see the place taken out, but where do you see it? Come up here.
I see the little hole.
Yeah. Well, that was the, we say the axle on which the bell would swing.
Yeah. So it was for calling the sevens and people in to work or from work or
time for finishing work and
time for finishing work or
meal times and
Time to come to work.
yeah, time to come to work. Yeah.
Sure, McCormick himself had a bell up
He
in
had, I remember hearing that one. That must have been the main door down there for the traffic coming in, was it?
No, that's the way between the two yabs. The two yabs.
well, the carts will come in that way.
Huh?
Carts and stuff like that will come in
Oh,
that way.
And they bring out, I suppose they bring out
Take a look at it.
Closer look at the red doors.
Yeah. There was one that missed in the roof. The other one was a cartway edge. In all probability, there was no arch over the big one. One would have been a pedestrian way. The small one would have been a pedestrian way, and the other one is a way for cats. The big one.
two big pillars.
Service
Well,
entrance.
it was an entrance down to the shade, yeah, down to the shade.
Yeah, well, that's what cats would come and bring in, all the stuff would be brought in here and brought out. The cats came in. That's the other thing to get out of there.
Yeah, and so the door would be hanging from that big bar there, wouldn't it?
This was one of the, I'd say, well, I tell you how, this would be for a stopper and putting a pin in the gate to keep it shut.
Oh, I
You know,
see.
that type of
Yeah.
hasp and a
Yeah, yeah.
So there it is. Look at there, the carrier of the window. The carrier bar is still there.
Yeah. Oh, the main.
All the food materials and fuel and everything else would be drawn in here from the bog,
And fertilizer.
and fertilizer would be drawn out.
Yeah.
You know, but all the traffic, all the service traffic of the place walked its way in and out here.
In and out here.
There was nothing went out the main avenue except the boss's carriage.
Wonder what happened to the
It's there, under here, just to dig the grass off it.
Oh, I see.
Paving is.
Yeah, there was nice, there was rows of hedges, you know. This,
Around here.
yes.
It would have been, there wouldn't be enough hedges to call it a maze, would there? No, you wouldn't sort of get lost. Were they high enough so you could hide in them?
What kind of fruit would you have in it? Black currants and
there was apples, there was gooseberries, there was black currants, and there was all those. There was plums. There was different.
Was it up and down like this, or was it level that time? Was there height in
No, it wasn't level. It was the way you see it now.
Yeah.
The trees are gone.
Yeah. I suppose there was full-time gardeners here too, there were?
Oh, shit,
Yeah, yeah.
there was an apple tree there above up. It was fairly recent, you know. I think it's out the Lacken. Broke it down. There was gassers coming in.
I know, yeah, thieving. Yeah. In there. The main drawing room. That's right.
And whatever would be over it,
Yeah.
their place where they sat around and did nothing all day anyway.
It offered the best view, I suppose,
Yes.
did it? Yeah. And the biggest window.
This was
Up
their,
on top and have the whole lot out on that side.
Oh well.
yeah.
This is another fruit garden. Lines of apple trees.
You go out there on the hill, you get a better view of it, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
Okay. This was the fruit garden here. It was fairly big, wasn't it? Now where do you say the fish pond was, Tom? Down the corner.
Oh, there's some sort of building down there.
Inside the wall, was it? Yeah. And down the fruit house, where they store the fruit. I suppose the fruit they got from this garden, wasn't it? And the other one. Yeah. This here was supposed to be the fish pond. Filled in now, isn't it? Do you remember seeing it with water in it?
No. When I came in, when I seen it, it was grass growing.
Grass grown in it. You wouldn't think there would be an outlet from the river into there.
But there must be some sort of way. There may have been some underground tunnel.
Yeah, the pond would be. And they would have a yeah. And they would have the fish then fresh all the time. It's due instead of a freezer, wouldn't it?
Well, yes, it would.
They wouldn't have any other food here now except fish, no? Because in all these castles, like up at along the Shannon, they always had one of these cold rooms and the water running through.
Well, now that you mentioned that, look at that corner of the wall. There was a building there, Sean.
Down there.
See where the plaster is?
I see, I do indeed. So it could have been one of these two, would it?
Well, possibly.
Oh yeah.
Most likely place for it.
Place is full of surprises. The fruit house. 2-story.
Yeah, fruit and nut case.
They had everything they wanted in those days, hadn't they?
Ah, yes.
This here was the stable yard, wasn't it?
Right. And you see those marquee gables on the wall?
Yeah, up
They were
there.
all stables coming out from that.
Yeah.
Isn't that the back? Is that the back of the coach house?
That's the back of the coach.
That's the back of the coach house now. You're looking at there.
And where's the dog running up through?
Well, that was another service through the stable yard, service entrance. You see, the coaches would come in. See the main entrance gate beyond.
Oh, that's
That was
right.
the front entrance
That's
gate for the
right.
coaches, right? Well, the Lord never brought them in there. This chief
Servants,
groom or whoever
yeah.
did, right? And right through here was another avenue, and it went out there. But where that one goes, I don't know.
Yeah,
because
well, this was the Haggard garden anyway down here.
that was the Haggard garden down there.
The tracks of the stack clothes are still here.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're still down there. But that one, there's no avenue going out from that one.
No.
It was just down to the main Haggard and the likes of that. You know, might as well see the track of them while we're at it. There's a trough still left.
What is it?
Trough. Look at it there.
Oh, I see it.
It's the wall.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yes, where was the well here, do you know?
I do.
If it isn't in the yard above me, I don't.
I think it's over there, Tom, was it? Was it?
There's a hole there above in the
Sean,
yard.
it wouldn't be in the stable yard, so it would be contaminated to hell, wouldn't it?
It would
There's
depend.
a hole in the yard above.
It's done, son. You must be, because I can see them from the road, you know.
No, there's stones which we brought out from the time when they were bringing them down from the garden, wouldn't they?
But you could see these from the road below. Oh, man, there's two.
The tracks of the stacks of oats. Another view of the fruit house. Built for building a stack outside. Yeah, I see that.
They were there, those are the guts of them, but their stones and stonework is all gone after.
Yeah, that's interesting. Why do you think? To keep them safe from rats and whatever.
Well, I suppose it would be.
Big old rats and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah. This was the Haggard garden then.
This is the Haggard garden here.
Where isn't they fair on the land? All around?
Well, they could farm it anywhere they like.
Well, they wouldn't have any farming done here now, sure they wouldn't.
Well, inside the domain, I doubt if there was any cultivating done.
Yeah.
Hardly inside there, but I heard some fella that was here, I think.
Yeah.
He used to have it tilled up there. Up along Kilchboat here, up along the board, down to there, down to the chapel.
Oh, yeah.
But
along
I heard
Kilchboat.
it was he was the first man that introduced drains.
You don't know his name?
I should have.
He was the last, one of the last landlords that was here.
He wasn't a landlord, he was a man that had it rented.
Oh, yeah. He'd be before Gavin, though, he would.
Oh, he was before you.
Was there a sunk fence around here anywhere? There was, I know where it is.
Moat.
No, sunk fence for keeping the cattle out so that they could have a nice lawn in front for look.
It's here.
It is indeed, yeah. Coach house. Drive the coaches in there. Oh, I see.
But that must be a that'd be a hair from all this one up here.
Well, there was a way into another place here beside.
Once I was anyway,
Coach house. And just later on the boys would play handball here. I suppose some of the uncles I had would have played handball.
It was going in there day anyway, and I'm sure.
More than likely, that fishing there was a
I
place
was
where
here, the day I was here, it was packed out with me.
Playing handball.
more than likely, that fishing there, that was the residence. It was either the chief groom or the chief coachman that lived there in the end.
Yes, that may be. And this must be the harness room up.
To be had
Up here.
And well, there was a loft overhead.
Oh, there was.
But that would be what that would be for.
Harness room.
Around 1920, 1919, 1920.
Any man that had a timber that came off that in the roof would stand with white.
Oh, sure.
A wooden lintel there is.
The
Couple of hundred,
She says she's wood, that's that wood one.
a couple of 100 years old.
Oh,
So it's only,
he's there since it was built anyway.
so it's only put that I kitchen machine.
Down here. So this hole here is supposed to have been the well. No pump or anything here to...
There was a trough,
Was there?
but it was
The
just
water.
through. So it was just
There's
thrown
one
out.
still below in the yard. We saw it as we came
Well,
by.
that's a good bit away now from here.
Could be shifted since.
The trough that was here must be gone.
Had they pumps in those days? They had?
They would. The later years anyway. They had
Yeah.
a piston pump.
For pumping the water up.
That was since the middle indeed.
Yeah.
Must be the one.
They'd have the... And to care, was that a channel that was for a pipe going out of the main house or something? To a storage tank?
Harness room and the coach house and the groom.
No,
An entrance.
more than likely. That's a guess. You know, that's
Ah,
what
yeah, yeah.
a groom or the chief coachman or whatever looked
Yeah.
after the coaches. As for the rest of them things down there, I haven't a notion what the hell they'd be.
I see my one, you built a new one.
It was a very...
Yeah.
He has,
An additional 20th century edition.
yeah. For stopping up the cattle for testing or something.
That's for firing on Indians if they happen to make a raid.
And that there would be the sunk fin.